My beloved child, I have grown weary of sending warning after warning, yet you remain silent, as if they were nothing more than whispers carried by the wind. I have sent signs, gentle stirrings in your spirit, but you have refused to open your heart. Now I do not come to frighten you, but to earnestly plead. If you delay any longer, the blessing prepared for you will slip from your grasp, and you will never have this opportunity again. If you intend to walk away from this message without reading it fully, you are closing the very door I have already opened for you. I do not come to add another empty phrase to the list of things you have heard, but to stir the deepest part of you, the place that has been silent for far too long. I know your heart was once warm toward me, but now it has grown faint, not because I have withdrawn, but because you have grown accustomed to sleeping amidst the noise of the world. You may think you are still fine, yet with every passing moment the distance grows, and one day when you finally realize it, I fear it will be too late. My child, this is not a random message that happened to cross your path. It is not mere words meant to stir a passing emotion, but the very breath of the Holy Spirit touching your soul right now. I do not require you to be perfect before coming near me. I only need you to open your heart the moment you hear my voice. Every second that passes is an opportunity you cannot buy back at any cost. Do not mistake delay for safety, for delay is the very act of stepping away from the light. I see clearly the things you hide, even the wounds you have never dared to name. I know the emptiness you have tried to fill with fleeting pleasures, yet none of them truly satisfy. I do not turn away from your turmoil. I step into it, bringing the peace the world cannot give. You do not need to hide your weakness from me. That is exactly where my grace desires to begin. You do not have to prove your worth to be loved. You were loved even when you were lost. Yet I also see each small step you take away from me, the moment you skip a time of prayer, the day you leave your Bible unopened, the little compromise you excuse by saying, "It's nothing." You think you are still in control, but these strands are weaving into a cord, pulling you away from my embrace. You cannot hold the world in one hand and me in the other. Every gap you create becomes a place for lies to creep in. I say this not to push you away, but so you may awaken before your heart grows cold. This is a personal and urgent call meant for you alone. It does not echo from some empty void, but flows from my own heart, the one who formed you and knows every breath you take. I speak now not to plant fear, but to draw you away from the path that leads to depletion. This very moment is a gift, and the next breath is promised to no one. Do not ignore the whisper knocking on the door of your heart, for it is I waiting for your response before time passes and the chance is gone. I call your name not in the noise of the crowd, but in the stillness of the innermost place. This call is not a passing breeze, but the wind of the Holy Spirit stirring the parts of you that have lain dormant. I do not want you to hear only with your ears, but with your very soul, the place where I placed my light from the beginning. I know there were moments you felt my presence vividly, yet you let worries, weariness, and temptation surround you, dulling my voice. You have gone farther than you realize, and the most dangerous thing is that you do not see it. I call you now, for time does not wait, and each silent moment could be the last before your heart closes. Do you remember the story of Samuel, the boy who slept in the temple, when my voice called to him in the night? 3 times I called, and he thought it was Eli the priest. Only when Eli told him, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening," did Samuel recognize it was my voice. You are the same. I have called you not once, but many times, yet you think it is coincidence or your own thoughts. I do not call you to test your patience, but to see if your heart is ready to answer. Do not wait until the light has left the window to realize that my voice was your one chance to change. My child, the reason my voice feels distant is not because I have stopped speaking, but because you have pressed your ear too close to the noise of the world. You chase after things that promise fleeting joy only to find emptiness and fatigue. You compromise with what you know is not of me, believing you can hold both me and the world. But you do not see that each time you do, you are closing the door of your heart. When my voice no longer rings clear, it is not because I have abandoned you, but because you have built a wall between us. I do not want that wall to stand long, for the longer it stands, the stronger it becomes. Therefore, I call you to return right now while your heart can still feel. Do not wait for a crisis or great sorrow to come running back, for no one knows what tomorrow will bring. I do not require you to come with a perfect plan. I only need a tender heart willing to hear and respond. Begin by stepping away from the noise, setting aside time to listen to me alone. Let my words soak into your heart like rain into dry ground until new life begins to sprout. You will see that when you take one small step toward me, I will run to embrace you, like the Father who has waited so long. Understand that this call is not only to save you from loss, but to lead you into a life made whole. The purpose I placed within you has never been revoked, but it requires your obedience to bloom. The moment you respond to my voice is the moment you turn from the road that descends into darkness and step onto the path of light. This is not a distant option or vague intention. It is a decision for now, for today. If you keep your heart open, I will lead you forward to a place where my love is not only heard but lived each day. I see you clearly, even when you think you hide well. There is no shadow in your soul my eyes cannot touch. I know the tears you have swallowed, the silent cries for help no one else has heard. I also know the times you smile before others while inside you are so weary you want to give up. You do not need to pretend to be strong before me, for I have never loved you because of your strength or perfection. I love you in that very weakness, for it is the place where my grace can reach deepest. But I see you trying to fill the emptiness inside with what cannot last. You seek approval from others, yet it fades as quickly as morning mist. You cling to short-lived successes, but they cannot heal the loneliness of your soul. Like the Samaritan woman at the well, you have drawn from sources that never quench your thirst again and again. I know what you thirst for, and I know only the living water I give can satisfy forever. The world will offer you beautiful cups to drink from, but once emptied, they only make you thirst again. I am not put off by the chaos within you. Often you think you must clean everything up before you dare come to me, but you do not know that I desire to enter right into the midst of that mess. I am not afraid of broken pieces. I long to use them to create something new. I am not repelled by scars. I turn them into signs of healing. If you let me in, I will do what you think impossible, turning shame into testimony, failure into a springboard for new hope. But you must open your heart, for I do not break down doors. Therefore, come to me as you are. Do not try to clothe yourself in a false robe of righteousness to hide your wounds. I see through every layer and love you fully without condition. When you dare to let me touch the deepest hurts, you will find true peace. A peace not built on circumstances, and one that cannot be stolen. You will understand that my love does not waver with your feelings, but stands firm as rock, unchanging through every season of life. And when you allow me to love you in your present state, it will open a way for you to stand firm against every temptation to drift away. For when you know you are loved, you will no longer seek it in places that are false. When you feel my embrace surrounding you, it will become easier to let go of what pulls you from me. My child, the danger of drifting away does not come in a violent storm, but in the gentle breeze of compromise. It begins with what seems harmless: a morning you skip prayer because you are busy, an evening you leave the Bible closed because you are tired, a thought you know is wrong but keep because it feels comfortable. These are like small stones that when gathered build a wall between us. You will not see the distance grow immediately, but day by day your heart will grow heavier and my voice fainter. Do not think you are fine simply because you have not yet collapsed. The silent drifting is more dangerous than the storm. I see you trying to walk two roads, holding the world in one hand and me in the other. But you cannot go on like this forever, for one side will eventually pull you completely to itself. As I have said in Matthew 6:2-4, no one can serve two masters. You cannot serve both God and money. Here, money does not only mean wealth, but anything you place above me, anything that takes my place in your heart. When you divide your heart, you will soon find that you have given the best of yourself to what is unworthy and only scraps to me. Compromise never remains small. One concession today leads to another tomorrow, until what once troubled your conscience becomes normal. The enemy favors this slow pace, for it convinces you that you are still safe. But you are drifting from the source of life without knowing it. I do not call you to walk at the edge of the cliff, but to walk in the center of the bright path where darkness cannot overtake you. True safety is not in being close to me occasionally, but in remaining in me every day. So be alert. Look at what you are holding on to and ask yourself, does it draw you nearer or push you further from me? Be brave to let go of what seems harmless but is dimming the light within you. I know there are things you find hard to release because they have been with you so long, but I also know the freedom and joy you will find when you lay them down. I do not ask you to leave temptation by your own strength. I will take your hand and lead you, if only you will let me. When you begin to recognize the quiet compromises that have taken root in your heart, light will shine into the corners you once thought no one could see. In that moment, you will feel a gentle yet compelling pull to come closer to me. I have always been there, never taking a single step away, and whenever you lift your head to seek, you will meet my waiting gaze. These moments are more precious than you think, for they open a new path where every step you take carries meaning, where each breath is no longer aimless. And as you walk this path, you will realize that there are calls you cannot ignore, for they carry the very life you have been searching for all along. There are moments in life that will never come again, and I know each one more intimately than anyone else. Time is like a river, flowing without pause, and once a drop of water has passed, it will not return. There are opportunities I place right before your eyes to step out of the darkness to come back home, but if you keep hesitating, they will vanish like the morning mist under the sun. I do not say this to frighten you, but so you will understand that every day you live is a gift with limits. Only the present truly belongs to you. Tomorrow will worry about itself, Matthew 6:3-4, and today is the moment to respond. Do you remember when Noah built the ark at my command? He called people to come inside before the flood came. Many laughed, saying there was still plenty of time, that the skies were still clear, that there was nothing to fear. But when the door of the ark closed and the rain began to pour, they realized their chance was gone. Do not be like them. Do not wait until the spiritual storm breaks before seeking refuge, for by then the door may already be shut. I do not want you standing outside looking in. I want you in the safety of my arms right now. I will not force you, for love cannot be coerced. But know this, my call will not echo forever if you keep turning away. Each time you refuse, another layer of hardness forms over your heart, and there will come a time when, even if I knock, you will no longer hear. It is not that I have withdrawn, but that you have built walls so thick, my voice can no longer pass through. That is why I plead with you today while your heart is still soft, while your ears can still hear me. You must understand that delay not only steals opportunity, but also makes the steps back harder to take. I see you telling yourself you will return when things get better, when your mind feels lighter. But my dear, that perfect moment will never come if you do not begin now. Today, with all its mess and weakness, is the right moment to come back. Do not wait until you feel good enough to draw near, for if you could reach perfection on your own, you would not need me at all. When you choose to seize the present, you will see a truth the moment you turn toward me. The distance between us disappears instantly, and in that closeness you will hear my promises more clearly than ever, that I will restore, I will guide, and I will renew you. This is what opens the way for you to see that my invitation is not merely to save you from loss, but to lead you into a future full of hope, where all I have prepared for you is good and lasting. When you choose to return, I will not simply take you back to where you started. I will lead you into an entirely new beginning. Everything you thought was lost forever, I can restore, and not just as it was, but more beautiful, more profound, more powerful. I know there are wounds you thought would always bleed, but when you place them in my hands, I will turn them into marks of victory. Pain will no longer be a burden, but a testimony to my power and mercy. When I renew your heart, your joy will no longer depend on circumstances, and your peace will no longer be fragile before the storm. Remember how Joseph was sold into slavery by his brothers, forgotten for years in prison, thinking everything had ended. Yet I used the very evil others intended to open the way for good, making Joseph the one who saved his family and his people. The same is true for you. I can turn every scheme meant to harm you into a tool to bring life. What the enemy thought would bury you will become the platform from which you step into the purpose I have destined for you. My child, when you remain in me, your life will bear fruit, not only in visible results, but in deep inward transformation. Your heart will be less anxious, your mind less restless, and your soul will find true rest. You will know how to love without fear of being hurt, to give without expecting return. This does not come from your own strength, but from my life flowing through you each day. You will become a living witness that my grace is greater than any failure. I give you abundant life, not merely to exist, but to live with clear purpose and a whole heart. The world will keep offering fleeting pleasures, but I give you lasting joy that trials cannot shake. You will know peace even when storms still rage around you, because you know I am with you and sovereign over all things. And when you take hold of this promise, do not keep it to yourself. Let the light I ignite in you shine into the darkness of others. Just as a lamp is not placed under a bowl, do not let the grace I give be hidden. When you live in my love and truth, you not only receive blessing, but become a source of blessing to many. This is the full life I have destined for you since before you were born. What I long for is not to watch you drift further into darkness, but to draw you close, so my breath mingles with your heartbeat. So each day you live is not weary existence, but a life full of vitality and meaning. I did not create you to stumble through your days like a lost traveler, but to walk as one who knows where they are going. That is why I can never understand why you run from the one who always runs toward you. You can hide from others, pile up thousands of excuses, but I am the one who sees through every layer you have built. I know the empty spaces in your heart, the ones holding secrets, never spoken, silent cries for help, and fears you do not even dare to face yourself. I do not turn away from you because of these things. On the contrary, it is precisely these messy, tangled, and unclean places that make me want to come even closer. I do not come with white gloves to avoid your dirt. I come with hands ready to embrace you exactly as you are. The peace I give is not a fragile feeling, but a gentle current flowing into every dark corner, soothing every wound and bringing the rest the world cannot find. I want you to let me touch that place, not to expose you to the world, but to remind you who you truly are in my eyes. You are not the final product of your past mistakes. You are not defined by the cruel words others have thrown at you. You are not merely the image others have of you, or the story your past has imposed on your life. In my eyes, you are a work I have crafted with care, chosen before the foundation of the world. I call you by name, love you deeply, unconditionally, and nothing can separate you from that love. You are not abandoned in the sea of humanity. You are not invisible in a hurried world. You have a place, you have value, and you belong to me. What I speak to you is not empty comfort or shallow encouragement you have heard so many times you no longer believe. This is not just another noise among the endless shallow messages out there. This is a word from my very heart, piercing through every defense, every disguise, to meet you right where you truly are. I know this world has too many voices, each one promising, calling, pulling, but among all these sounds only my voice will lead you home. I see how weary you are from trying to please everyone, from holding a strong image while inside you are drained. I know the nights you lie awake thinking of things you cannot speak. I know the moments you wonder if anyone truly understands you. And I am here so you will know the answer is yes. I understand you better than you understand yourself. Not a single thought, tear, or heartbeat escapes my sight. So do not reject me when I come near. Do not lock the door I have patiently knocked on for so long. Do not let fear of judgment keep you from the arms already open to hold you. I do not come to add burdens, but to set you free. I do not come to condemn, but to lift you out of the depths you thought you could never escape. When you let me in, you will know what it is to be seen without fault-finding, to hear a voice without criticism, and to be loved without having to prove anything. My child, every true change begins the moment you let me tell you who you are, instead of letting the world label you with its cheap names and titles. And once you know you are chosen, loved, and belong to me, you will no longer feel the need to chase after the fleeting approval of people. Your heart will stop scrambling for a place in a changing world, for it will have found its secure anchor in me. This is not a story to skim over and forget. This is a call to pause, listen, and respond. Do not let it slip away like background music you barely hear. Do not treat this as a nice message to set aside. This is a living moment, a real opportunity, a rope I am lowering to you in the swirling waters, and you know I have never given up all this time, even when you ignored me over and over. You may ask, why now? Why at this moment? And I will tell you, it is because today is the day you can still hear my voice, still feel the stirring in your heart, still have the chance to return. Tomorrow is not promised to you. Opportunities do not always wait. My love is eternal, but the door to respond is sometimes open only for a season. Do not miss that season because you think you have more time. And if you are still uncertain, remember that I have never stopped seeking you. I have used someone's words, a song, a memory, a sudden moment to remind you of me. I have placed people in your life to draw you closer. I have stirred your heart on an ordinary day just so you would know I am still there. Each of these is a thread in the great tapestry I am weaving for your life, a tapestry no one else can ever replicate. This is the moment for you to stop running. This is the moment for you to cease chasing after things that will never truly satisfy you. This is the moment to come home, not because you are forced to, but because you have come to see the true worth of the arms that have been waiting for you. You will see when you take steps toward me that I have long been standing there, and each step you take will never be taken alone again, for I, the one who created you, will never let go of your hand. No matter how vast the distance you feel lies between us, no matter if your soul is trapped in the deepest shadows of loneliness, lingering pain, or surrounded by thoughts that seem inescapably dark, I am still there. I am not a detached spectator watching you struggle in weakness. I am the Father who steps down into the very barren land where you are to shoulder with you the weight you cannot bear alone. I do not come with empty hands, but with the key that unlocks every chained door to shatter the bonds that have held you captive for too long. That door has long been open. I am only waiting for you to release your grip on what holds you back so you can step out. Do not remain in the shadows I have already broken apart. Do not cling to the fragments I have taken away to save you. I did not give my life for you to merely exist in a cage of fear or guilt, but so you could be free to step into the radiant light I have prepared uniquely for you. I know this world is heavier than you think, and darkness seems to spread ever faster, swallowing even the smallest glimmers of hope. But my child, darkness has never been able to overcome the light. Even when you feel small in the whirlwind of chaos, remember that the light I have placed within you cannot be extinguished by any force of the night. What wears you down the most is not the weight of life itself, but your attempt to carry it alone. You have yet to realize that I never asked you to walk through everything on your own. I invite you to place that burden into my hands so I may make it lighter than you ever imagined. At times you are afraid to leave the darkness you know. Even though it is suffocating, it feels safe because it is familiar, while the light, though free, makes you anxious because you do not know what lies ahead. But remember, false safety only traps you in cycles of pain, while the light I give is the place where you truly belong. I do not promise that you will never face trials, but I do promise that you will never face them alone. Even when you walk on paths you have never known, you will always feel my hand guiding you, like a father holding his child's hand as he teaches those first unsteady steps. Perhaps you look around and see darkness covering everything, hearts growing cold, love becoming scarce, truth distorted, and evil seeming to prevail. But do not let these things convince you that I have abandoned you. It is in the darkest days that my light shines brightest. I once led the Israelites through the Red Sea, when the enemy was behind them, the sea before them, and darkness all around. In the same way, I will make a way through what seems to be your dead end. What you think is the final period is only a comma in the story I am writing. My child, do not measure my strength by what your eyes can see. Do not let disappointment cloud the truth that I am still at work, even when you do not perceive it. Like a seed buried in the earth, seemingly dead, yet quietly sprouting within, waiting for the day to break forth, I am working in you the same way. You may feel as though you are in a cold, dark place, but it is precisely there that the deepest transformations occur. When the right time comes, you will rise stronger, more beautiful, and closer to me than ever before. You do not need to wait until everything is perfect before stepping out of the dark. In reality, the light I give will go with you, and heal what needs to be mended along the way. I have prepared for you a journey in which every step forward takes you further from pain, further from lies, and closer to the fullness of life. I have not called you to live just fine. I have called you to live abundantly, so your heart is no longer strangled by fear or anxiety, but opened wide to receive joy and peace that the world cannot take away. I understand there are invisible cords holding you back, perhaps painful memories, self-blame, or words that once made you doubt your worth. But you need to know these do not define you in my eyes. In my eyes, you are the one I have chosen, the one I have given life to, the one worth the price of my very own life. When you believe this truth, every chain loses its power to bind you. I do not only want you to escape the darkness, I want you to learn how to live in the light. That means you are not only freed from what is wrong, but you also step into what is truly good. You will begin to realize that everything you once craved in vain was only a shadow of what I truly long to give you. When you drink from my living water, you will never thirst again, and when you dwell in my love, you will no longer seek acceptance elsewhere. My light is not only for you, it is meant to shine through you to those still in their own darkness. When you live in the truth, you become living proof that new life is real, that no one is too far gone to be saved. You will become a voice of hope, a hand of comfort, and eyes that look upon others with the kindness you have received from me. In the end, you will see that the journey from darkness into light is not just a single moment, it is a way of living. Each day you choose to remain close to me is a day you step deeper into the fullness of life. Every time you fall, I will lift you. Every time you stray, I will call you back. And one day when you look back, you will see that the very trembling steps you took in the shadows led you into a light more radiant than you ever imagined. I have prepared everything for you. The light is ready. The door is open. The key remains in my hand, and my hand is extended toward you. Now the only question is whether you will take my hand and step out, or remain in a darkness that no longer has any right to hold you. That choice is yours alone. But remember, I have been and always will be waiting for. My love for you never fades, no matter where you are, no matter how far you have gone. Engrave this upon your heart. I am not a vague idea or a distant tale told for comfort. I am present, alive, and at work in every breath you take. When the darkness seems overwhelming, I do not retreat. I draw nearer, letting my light pierce through every layer of gloom surrounding you. Do not think you must stand strong on your own, for it is my strength that will lift you. You do not have to make yourself good enough before coming to me, for if that were possible, grace would lose its meaning. What I desire is not perfection, but a heart that trusts, a soul willing to lay down every burden and step into my embrace. When you dare to place your pain in my hands, what you receive in return will not be a fleeting comfort, but a deep peace the world cannot give nor take away. That peace does not come because every problem disappears, but because you know you are no longer alone in the battle. Likewise, when you give me your tears, I will not only wipe them away, but turn them into seeds sown for a season of joy. You will be amazed to see that from the barren, broken ground of your life, I can cause vibrant flowers of hope to bloom until your very life becomes proof of the renewal only I can bring. You must realize that time is moving faster than you think. Each day is not just another number on the calendar, but one step closer to the moment when all things will be revealed. Change is happening not only in this chaotic world, but also deep within your spirit. There are subtle stirrings, gentle urgings you feel but cannot yet name. These are signs that the Holy Spirit is moving within you. I do not want you to miss them. This is not the time for your heart to slumber, nor for you to be lulled into complacency by false comfort or distracted by fleeting pleasures. Remember that the world's version of peace is not the true peace. It is only a fragile shell covering emptiness inside. You may feel fine simply because no major storm has hit yet, but if your heart has grown cold, the danger has already begun. Just as a candle does not go out from a sudden gust, but from a lack of air, so your heart can slowly fade if you let my call be drowned out by 1,000 other noises. I do not want this for you, for I made you to shine, to radiate a light that does not come from your own strength, but from me, the source that never burns out. When I say I am the light, it is not merely to comfort you, but to declare that wherever I am, darkness cannot remain. When you are in me, that light will flow through you, reaching places you could never reach on your own. You do not need to try to make yourself shine, for true light will naturally radiate as you remain near the source. Just as the moon does not generate its own light but shines brightly by reflecting the sun, so you will shine by reflecting me into the night of this world. The question is not whether you can shine, but whether you will position yourself where my light can reach you. Therefore, I call you to release what you have been clinging to, even if it has exhausted and wounded you. Stop trying to control everything as if your life depends solely on your own ability. I know there are things you hold on to out of fear of loss, but it is when you dare to set them down that you will receive something better, something lasting. The peace and joy I give are not fleeting emotions, but a firm foundation for you to stand on, even when everything around you is falling apart. Open your eyes to the signs I have placed along your path. They may not come as dramatic omens, but they are present in the smallest details, a word of encouragement from a stranger, an unexpected door of opportunity, or even a dream that leaves you with an unshakable sense of urgency. These are my ways of reminding you that I am at work even when you do not see it. But if your heart remains busy or numb, you will miss these whispers. Do not let your days slip by in a state of living while asleep. Time waits for no one, and the chance to change, to return, to step into abundant life is not always there. I am moving, and I want you to walk with me so that each of your days is not just existence, but a journey full of purpose. You were not born to be swept away by the aimless tide, but to be living proof that light can overcome darkness, that love can heal the deepest wounds, and that truth can shatter every lie. If you knew what I have prepared ahead, you would never wish to delay. Every step toward me is a step away from the depths of weariness, anxiety, and emptiness. Do not let anything distract you from what matters most, keeping your heart awake and turned toward me. Even if you cannot yet see the whole picture, trust that I am painting a masterpiece from the fragments of your life. And when that masterpiece is complete, you will know that not a single tear was wasted, not a single pain was meaningless, and not a single day was lost when you lived close to me. Right now, this is your moment. Open your eyes and see each sign unfolding before you is not a coincidence, but a series of reminders from me. Every movement of this world, from the upheavals outside to the stirrings deep within your heart, points to one reality: the day of my return is closer than you think. When the trumpet sounds, it will not be a vague note lost among countless noises, but a reverberation shaking heaven and earth, compelling every heart to bow. In that moment, there will be no room for hesitation, no time to weigh options or negotiate. You will stand before me, not with unfinished plans, but with the exact condition of your soul in that instant. And what determines whether you rejoice or shrink in shame will not be found in some distant future, but in how you are living right now. I see that you sometimes lull yourself to sleep with promises of tomorrow. You say you will give me your time when work is lighter, that you will return to prayer when your mind is less troubled, that you will seek the truth when you have had your fill of the pleasures of this world. But my child, tomorrow is not a gift you own. It is a grace if I grant it. Your next breath is not in your control, and the only certainty you have is the present moment. Do not let delay become the subtle snare that binds you, for each time you say later, your heart loses some of its sensitivity to my voice. One day you may find yourself accustomed to the silence, and what is most frightening is that you no longer feel the absence of my voice. Remember that I do not call you merely to escape destruction, but to step into a life richer than anything you have ever dreamed. Yet that life cannot be found if you keep one foot in the light and one in the darkness. I know there are things you hesitate to let go of, not because they are truly good, but because they have become an easy source of comfort. The world will always paint a picture of freedom without restraint, but I see clearly the chains hidden beneath its glittering surface. True freedom is not doing whatever you want, but being released from what pulls you away from me. And only I have the authority and power to give you that freedom. I am drawing you not with force, but with persistent love. Every event, every encounter, every unexpected word that stirs your heart, all are threads I weave to bring you home. You may think it is mere coincidence, but it is I patiently placing signs along your path. I am not drawing you back to bind you, but to give you an inheritance. Nothing can steal peace that does not fade, joy that does not vanish, and hope that is never buried beneath the weight of this life. My child, there are those who hear the trumpet's warning yet continue to sleep, thinking they still have time. Like the people in Noah's days, they ate and drank, bought and sold, married and were given in marriage until the flood came. Then every plan and every dream lost its meaning, for the most important thing had been ignored. I do not want you to fall into that fate. I want you, when that moment comes, to lift your head in joy, not to panic in search of a hiding place. You will hear my voice and recognize it as the call of the one who has walked with you each day, not as the voice of a stranger. Do not let your heart be weighed down by fleeting things, nor let your eyes be blinded by illusions the world spreads before you. Instead, keep your lamp burning like the 5 wise virgins who had oil ready and did not sleep before the bridegroom arrived. You cannot wait until the trumpet sounds to start seeking oil, for by then the door will close and you will be left outside. This is the time to prepare to be watchful, to keep the flame within you alive. I do not tire of repeating this because I know the worth of your soul. I paid the price with my own life so that you would not be swallowed by darkness. Do not let my death become meaningless to you because you think you can walk your own way until the last moment. Salvation is not a ticket you purchase once and store away. It is a journey you must fully live each day. And today, right now, is part of that journey. I call this your moment not because it is more special than any other, but because it is the moment in which you can decide. All that has passed you cannot change. All that is to come you cannot predict. But right now you can choose to turn back, to draw nearer, to let me take your hand and lead you. Do not let this moment slip away like so many others you have missed. It may be the final thread connecting you to life, and I do not want that thread to be cut. Imagine if that day came and you were ready, how great your joy would be. Not joy because you escaped judgment, but joy because you see me, the one you love, and hear my words. Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your master. But if you turn away now, if you continue to delay, you will miss what is more precious than anything in this world. Nothing is worth the loss of your soul. No possession, no relationship, no dream is worth forfeiting eternal life. I have set before you the way of life and the way of death. I have shown you the path that leads to the light. Now the choice is yours. Choose life so that you and those you love may be blessed. Choose today, for tomorrow is not certain. I am drawing near, and when I come, I want to find you ready, standing firm in the light, not wandering in the dark. And if you hear my voice right now, do not delay even one more second, for this is the moment I have set apart for you. My child, my love for you is unlike any love you have ever known. It does not fade with time nor weaken because of your failures. But remember, I am holy and just. My love does not overlook truth, and my justice is not diluted by mercy. Every seed you sow into the soil of your life will bear fruit in time, whether for good or for harm. If you sow bitterness, you will reap loneliness. If you sow obedience, you will reap blessing. Yet what I want you to remember is this: even if the field of your life is overgrown with weeds, if you humble yourself and give it to me, I will uproot, plow, and sow anew. When you humble yourself, you do not lose, you open the space for my grace to flood in. Humility does not make you smaller, it brings you nearer to the source of life. Pride always builds a wall between you and me, but when you bow low, it is then that I lift you up. Do not come to me only out of fear of punishment or to escape consequences, for fear cannot keep you close for long. I want you to come because you see that my love is deeper than any pit you have fallen into, wider than any sin you have ever committed. It is my kindness that draws you. I do not use chains, I use my arms. I do not drive you to run, I walk patiently beside you. When you let me cleanse you, it is as if the thick dust covering your soul suddenly disappears and you can breathe freely again. The water I give not only washes away filth, but renews, refreshes, and revives what you thought was dead. When you let me fill you, I will not give you things that quickly pass away, but eternal treasures that no time or circumstance can take. I see more clearly than anyone every detail of your life. No day passes when I forget your name. No event turns my eyes away from you. From your smallest joys to your quietest tears, all are recorded by me. I know the things you have never spoken, the dreams you have buried for fear of pain, and even the desires you thought had died. To me, nothing is forgotten. Everything rests in my hands, and I have never let go. My plans for you are not canceled just because you wandered for a time. They are still there waiting for the day you are ready to step in. They are full of hope, not vague hope, but good things carefully prepared at the right time. Your future is not closed. It still unfolds day by day, and I continue writing each chapter with love and wisdom. Do not believe the lie that you have missed everything. You may think the best part of your life is behind you, but I tell you, I am only beginning. I will take the very things that were meant to destroy you and make them the foundation for something new. Like the stone the builders rejected, I will set it as the cornerstone. The pain that once brought you to your knees will become the story that lifts others up. Every scar will be a testimony to the power of grace, so that those in despair will know there is still a way back. The enemy wants to use your failures to shut the door, but I will use them to open more doors than you ever dreamed. Do not rush away when you are still in my presence. Every moment you remain is a chance for me to work deeper in your heart. Even when you cannot feel it, I am working at a level beyond emotion. My love does not depend on whether you feel it or not. I act in places your eyes have not seen and your hands have not touched. Like a seed quietly sprouting underground, my work will be revealed at the right time, but only if you stay close and persevere, not give up midway. Do not deceive yourself into thinking that keeping a little distance is harmless. You may think you are safe standing just a bit away, but every step away brings you closer to the edge. In the spiritual realm, there is no neutral ground as you imagine. All drifting has a destination, and it never leads toward me. The enemy knows this well and is wise enough not to push you down at once, but to draw you away bit by bit with distractions, fleeting pleasures, and sweet-sounding excuses. You cannot hold the world's hand and still keep hold of mine. These two paths always lead in opposite directions, and one day you will have to let go of one. I say this not to frighten you, but to awaken you to choose. You cannot walk the line forever. True love does not wait endlessly at the door without being invited in. True faith cannot live in a divided heart. If you want to experience the fullness of life, you must firmly remain in me. So, my child, choose not by fleeting emotion, but with a firm and lasting decision. Choose to place me at the center where nothing else competes. Choose to release what binds you, no matter how comforting it seems. Choose to step onto the path I have prepared, even if it requires leaving behind familiar ways. You will see that when you put your whole trust in me, everything else will fall into its proper place. And then you will know it was the decision you will never regret. I am still here, not hidden far away, but in the very steps you take, whether your heart recognizes it or not. I do not look at you with harsh eyes, nor do I hold a scale to measure every fault. I only open my arms to receive the soul that wavers. This is the moment you must decide, not with prolonged hesitation, but with a decisive choice to return. The small things you think harmless, skipping a time of conversation with me, delaying your moments of prayer, letting my word gather dust on the shelf, may seem trivial, yet they silently create a gap. That gap slowly pulls you away until the silence replaces my voice within, and heaviness seeps into the space that was once warm. This distance does not come like a violent storm, but like a thick fog dimming your sight without you noticing. You hope to keep the warmth while standing far from the fire, but that warmth will fade, leaving the cold to sink into your soul. You want to see clearly, yet turn your back on the light, then wonder why darkness surrounds you. I speak with all honesty, not to instill fear, but to open your eyes. The gap between safety and the abyss can sometimes be only a blink. Once your eyes leave me, you will not know how far you have gone until your feet touch the edge. Some think that as long as they have not fallen, as long as they still appear stable, they are safe. But in truth, each step nearer the edge is a step of surrendering control to what is harmful. Temptation never comes with a fierce face. It comes with charm skill and the suggestion that you are still in control. You toy with the flame, touch the chill of the night, and think you can pull away in time. You tell yourself that grace will always be there, that you can return whenever you wish. But grace is not a rug to step on when you please. It is my outstretched arms to save you when you truly run back in repentance. I never called you to live on the fragile border between light and darkness. The life I give is not found at the cliff's edge, where you are just close enough to see me, but far enough to cling to what the world offers. I call you into the center of my will, where my protection covers you, where my light not only guides your path, but also warms and nourishes your soul. There you will not need to constantly struggle for balance, for the solid foundation will keep you safe. Walking close to me is not a chain that robs you of freedom, but a wide road that leads you into true freedom. Freedom not to do whatever you wish, but freedom from all that seeks to destroy you. I know there are things you think you can control, but in truth, they are slowly controlling you. I do not want to see you taken hostage by temporary choices when I have prepared for you a life that is full and enduring. That is why every word I speak today is a lifeline, not to bind you, but to pull you out of the hidden current dragging your soul away. When you stand near me, you will feel the steady beat of peace instead of anxious fear. You will find yourself covered in certainty instead of tossed in doubt. In that place, you will learn to see the world through my lens, knowing what is worth keeping and what must be let go. Living near me does not mean your life will be free from storms, but it does mean you will always know the way home, even when lost at sea. That is why I still stand here right now, inviting you to step away from the edge and into the place of absolute safety. I call you to walk in holiness and separation, not to strip away joy or restrict life, but to preserve the soul in its fullness against things that appear sweet yet hide venom within. When you refuse this invitation and chase after the comforts of the flesh or quiet compromises, that is when the flame within begins to fade. My mercy is not a ticket for you to keep testing the limits of grace, but a doorway into a new life, steadfast and unbound. Yet every time you wave away, my voice, another layer of ice forms over the heart, dulling its sensitivity to what is good. What you call freedom is, in truth, a subtle bondage ropes woven from seemingly harmless choices, tightening little by little until you no longer realize you are imprisoned. There are roads that seem wide and smooth, filled with laughter, yet their end is a deep abyss. When you choose your own path without seeking my will, you are not stepping upward, you are descending one step at a time. The door of truth closes when you allow lies to become your companion. Every half-truth you accept becomes a brick in a wall that blocks out the light until you see only darkness and mistake it for normal. The world will never show you its true face at the start. It offers you comfort, quick rewards, and fleeting satisfaction, but hides the price to be paid at the end. It makes you believe you can hold on to what is mine while fully enjoying what opposes me. But the truth is, you cannot. Just as a river cannot flow in two directions at once, the human heart cannot be loyal to two masters. If you try, you will be torn apart, and the weaker part will be carried away first. The danger of walking by your own will is that its consequences rarely appear immediately. One wrong step doesn't cause you to collapse at once, and so you think you are fine. But even a small deviation, if left uncorrected, will take you to a destination far from your intended goal. Like a ship veering just a few degrees off course after a long journey, it will arrive at a strange and distant shore. I see the final end of every road, and that is why I never call you to compromise, not even once. Some have gone so far down that path that when they look back, they no longer recognize themselves. The light in their eyes has dimmed. The zeal they once had is now a memory, and my voice, that once rang clearly, is only a distant echo. They never planned to leave me. They simply thought a few small steps would do no harm. Yet those small steps added together carried them to a place where their hearts no longer respond to my call. I do not want that for you. The separation I call you to is not a burden but a fortress of protection. When you live set apart, you are shielded from things that seem harmless but drain the very life out of you. You avoid the snares your enemy so skillfully lays traps that once caught in are difficult to escape. You will learn to discern between the true voice and the false, between the true light and counterfeit lights that flash briefly and fade. There may be times you feel lonely walking the narrow road, for few choose to walk it. But remember, crowds do not prove what is right. The road to life is not always the popular choice, but it is the only one that leads to a safe harbor. And I will walk with you every step, never leaving you to face any stretch of the road alone. When the heart grows cold, it no longer seeks me, and that is what is truly fearful. It is not when you are weak or when you stumble, but when you no longer care where you stand in relation to me. That is when lies have done their perfect work, making you believe the current distance is acceptable. Yet I will not stop knocking until you open, or until the heart becomes too hard to hear the knock at all. If you are in such a place, do not wait another day. Return while your heart is still soft, while your ears can still hear, while your eyes can still recognize the light. Separation is not merely a command, it is an invitation into the safe refuge of my presence, where no falsehood can pull you from true love. And when you are in that love, every chain will lose its power, every cord will rot away, and you will know what true freedom is. Your surrender does not add power to me or give me anything I lack, for I have always been complete from eternity. I call for your surrender because I know what lies ahead, which turns hide the abyss, and where traps are cleverly hidden. Your sight is limited to what is before you, but mine pierces the future. I see the pit when you see only a smooth road. I see the snare when you hear only a gentle invitation. That is why my hand is always extended, not to force but to rescue, not to impose but to shelter. And every time that hand is pushed away, I am not angered without cause, but grieved, knowing you are turning from the very life I long to give you. How many more times will you ignore this gentle yet urgent call before your heart loses its ability to be moved by me? My spirit will not keep pulling forever on one who insists on walking away. The knocking will not go on endlessly if the one inside chooses to cover their ears. Love does not violate boundaries, and I will not break the door to enter where I am not welcomed. You may say I am a priority, but every choice in your life tells another story, one where I am pushed lower, making way for work, pleasure, ambition, or passing concerns. Day by day, reasons that sound reasonable are used to justify the growing distance. You say you will return when things are more stable, when your heart feels lighter, when you have more time. But who has given you the guarantee that later will exist? Time is mine, destiny is in. My hands, even your next breath, is mine to give. Yet you live as though you own it all, delaying as though tomorrow is a guaranteed right. Even when you have wandered far, I still wait. My waiting is not based on your merit or worth, but on a love that knows no bounds. That love is patient, but do not mistake patience for eternity. There are opportunities which, if missed, cannot be found again. With every step you turn away, a part of you grows more calloused, harder to soften again to my touch. Not because I withdraw my hand, but because you allow your heart to be wrapped in invisible layers of separation. There are souls who once heard my voice clearly, who once ran to me without hesitation, but who have allowed busyness, wounds, and personal desires to pull them away. They think they will always have a chance to return, that the door will always be open. But one day they find their heart no longer stirred, my voice no longer familiar, and the urge to come back gone. That is the danger of delay, not that I cease to love, but that the heart no longer wants to respond to that love. And I, with the heart of a father, warn you not to control you, but because I know where you are heading. I see the deep pits around bends that seem harmless. I see the traps covered in fragrant flowers with sharp blades hidden beneath. I know there are relationships, opportunities, and invitations you think are good, but I see the rot concealed inside. If you hear my voice, I will guide you around them, but if you insist on trying, you will bear the wound I long to spare you from. The surrender I call for is not to rob you of freedom, but to keep you in true freedom. Freedom unbound by sin, fear, or invisible pressures. When you place me first, everything else finds its rightful place. But when I am pushed to the end, everything turns chaotic and you wonder why you are exhausted and unsettled even after attaining what you wanted. It is not because I punish, but because you are trying to live cut off from the source of life. There will come a moment when you must face this truth: either let me lead or grope your own way in the dark. I cannot be both the leader and the standby, for when I am not leading, you will be led by something else, and those things never aim to keep you whole. I do not seek promises of words. I seek a heart ready to obey. For obedience is not just an act, but the direction of an entire life. Pay attention to how you spend your time, for there it is revealed what you truly prioritize. I am not looking for perfection in your schedule, but I see where you invest your energy, your thoughts, and your affections. If everything else crowds in before me, it means you are choosing a direction that will ultimately lead you away from me. Distance does not always begin with open defiance, but with small things repeated daily, until they form a new path where I am no longer at the center. How many more times will you tell yourself just a little longer, while each little is dulling your ability to hear and respond to me? How many more days will you place your hope in an uncertain tomorrow? No one can guarantee I am still waiting, still reaching, still speaking, but do not let this waiting become the story of a lifetime's regret. For love's sake I remain here, yet for love's sake there will come a time when I let you walk the path you choose, even if it does not lead back to me. And when that day comes, I only hope you will remember the times I knocked, remember the sound of this call, so that when all other noise fades, you will know to turn toward the light. For no matter how far you have gone, if your heart still longs for life, I will be there waiting to embrace you and bring you home. But remember, do not let the promise of return become the excuse for delay, for not every journey will have the chance to turn back in time. In the beginning, change often comes quietly, like a thin wisp of smoke slipping unnoticed into a room. One morning, swept along by the demands of daily life, the time meant for intimate conversation with me is replaced by other urgent tasks. One evening, when the mind is weary, the invitation to open the scriptures is set aside with the thought, I can read it tomorrow. Then comes a thought, a choice, one you know is not right, yet you keep it because it offers a moment's comfort. These seemingly small things are like insignificant drops of water, yet over time they merge into a current strong enough to push you far from me. At first you don't notice the distance, but then one day as you look back, you are startled to find yourself far from where you began. When the light within no longer burns as brightly as before, my voice begins to fade into the distance. The gentle reminders, the quiet urgings once clear as a call in the night, now sound like whispers carried by the wind. You start to forget that sound, and in its place, your mind is filled with the empty promises of the world. When you gaze into the mirror of your soul, you no longer recognize the image I placed within you. The reflection shows only traces of choices made without my guidance, decisions born of self-will rather than obedience. Yet no matter how great the distance has grown, I have never abandoned my place. I still stand here, not with cold rebuke, but with eyes full of compassion. Every wandering step you take is within my sight, and the moment you turn back, I am ready to run to you and hold you in my embrace. Not a single tear you shed escapes. My notice, not one sigh, is forgotten. All I ask is that you stop running, stop trying to mend your wounds on your own, and turn your whole heart toward me. You will find my arms have been open for a long time. Your weakness does not repel me, nor do your failures cause me to turn away. On the contrary, it is in the very moments when you realize your exhaustion and helplessness that my grace shines most clearly. I do not seek perfection in you. I seek sincerity. Yet that sincerity cannot coexist with neglecting me. You cannot say you love me while living as though I am merely an optional addition, something to include only when convenient. True love will place me first, not at the bottom of a list. The peace you long for cannot dwell in a heart that keeps me at a distance. The light you seek will not come when you choose silence in response to my voice. I am not an accessory to decorate your life. I am its only source. Without me, every foundation you build is fragile and destined to crumble. Without me, every success you achieve is but a sandcastle before the waves. When you realize that I am not merely part of your life, but your very breath and your reason for being, then you will truly enter into the abundant life I have prepared for you. Distance is not always measured in days or months, but in how much you still hear and respond to my voice. Each time you choose something else over being with me, another stone is added to the wall between us. Yet this wall is not unbreakable. A sincere cry, a decision to lay down pride, a single step toward me in humility. These can all open a way through. I will never let anyone who comes to me in repentance leave empty-handed. I will receive, restore, and transform. And when you return, the light will not only illuminate your own path, but also shine into the darkness of others. Your transformation will bear witness to my power and kindness. They will see in you that though you were once lost, you were found. Though you had fallen, you were lifted up. And as you live this way, your love for me will no longer be mere words, but a living offering visible to all. Do not let time slip by without acting. Each day carries an opportunity to draw nearer, to love more deeply, to trust more firmly. When you remain in me, everything else will find its rightful place. But if you drift away, everything will gradually lose its true meaning. Step out of the cycle of compromise, break free from the rhythm of emptiness, and step into a new journey with me. Not tomorrow, not when things settle down, but now while your heart can still feel and respond to my voice. I was present before you drew your first breath, and it is I who gave life to that heartbeat. Not a single moment of your life lies outside. My sight for it was my hand that formed you into this world. Your heart was never meant to be a place I visit and then leave. It was shaped to be my dwelling. And so each time you try to walk without me, your soul begins to wither like a tree cut off from its water source. You may feel strong for a while, but deep inside, that strength is only a short breath, not because you are inadequate, but because you are living in a way that goes against your original design. The emptiness you carry the nights you lie awake, listening to your own heartbeat without peace, are not random. They are reminders from within that I am missing from the place I rightfully belong. You have tried to fill that void in many ways: relationships, work, ambition, even dreams that seem noble, but they soothe only the surface for a time and cannot heal at the root. You were not created to invent your own meaning. True meaning was placed in me, and only when you return will you find it. Looking at the world, you see it glitter with promises of success and fulfillment. Yet those promises always hide conditions, and when you finally obtain them, you realize the cost was far greater than the worth received. The world can give you fame, but not rest. It can give you laughter, but not joy that remains through the night. It can paint a splendid vision, but behind it are hollow walls. Each time you chase these things, you trade the eternal for a fleeting moment, like selling a priceless pearl for a shard of polished glass. I give what is true, and what is true does not change with circumstances. The joy I give does not fade when you lose something precious. The peace I give does not fracture under pressure. The purpose I grant is not eroded by years or the judgment of others. But to receive it, you must choose to hold on to me rather than to the things draining life from you. You must learn to let go of what promises much yet delivers little. You must be brave enough to refuse what is easy but temporary, in order to keep what is hard to grasp but enduring. Remember, what is mine is not swept away by the tides of this life. If you choose to walk with me, storms may still come, but you will not be carried away. Like a ship anchored securely in a safe harbor, you will stand firm amid the waves, not because you are stronger, but because your anchor is in me. I am the foundation upon which, if you build your life, no power, whether of the world or of darkness, can destroy it. But if you keep building on sand, on self-satisfaction, ambition, or illusions, you will see it all collapse with the first wind. So why cling to what will pass away, as though it could last forever? Why let fading things determine your worth? You were not made to live by the shifting standards of the world. You were made to reflect a glory that never fades, to carry within you a life that cannot be stolen. And that is only possible when I hold the highest place in your heart, not at the edges, not as part of something else, but as the very center from which every decision, every dream, every step flows. When you place me in my rightful place, the eternal will shape how you live each day. You will find yourself able to refuse temptations that once swayed you. You will discover patience to wait when you see no results because you trust that what I begin will not be left unfinished. You will no longer be ruled by praise or criticism, by sudden changes, by loss or abundance. Everything you need to stand firm will come from the connection between you and me. Nothing else can take its place. Do not let the world's invitations convince you that my absence is a small gap you can ignore. That gap is the very center of your life, and when it is not filled with me, everything else will slowly decay. Remember the time you were closest to me, when your heart was light, when your peace was unshakable, when your dreams were tied to a purpose greater than yourself. I still want to bring you back to that place and beyond. But you must be willing to let go of the temporary in order to hold on to what lasts forever. I did not create you for a solitary journey. Each time you walk alone, you will find yourself easily lost, easily exhausted, easily broken. Not because you lack ability, but because you are trying to do what is beyond human nature. You were designed to walk in communion, to share the beat of your heart with mine, to have every decision, great or small, illuminated by wisdom from the source. When you understand this, you will realize that choosing to remain in me is not merely a religious duty, but the very survival of your soul. So consider carefully before you trade the priceless for what will fade. Do not sell your birthright for a bowl of stew, as Esau once did, a rash decision that he regretted for life. You are holding something sacred, something the enemy constantly seeks to steal. Do not lose an eternal inheritance for a moment's satisfaction. I am ready to guard all that I have placed within you, but you must also be willing to stand watch, allowing nothing to enter and destroy. If you still think you can find wholeness outside of me, you will keep wandering from place to place, from dream to dream, never able to rest. But when you return, when you let me be your very life, you will realize you have found your harbor. Not a harbor for sleeping in complacency, but a starting point for every new journey, where each step is full of life, each challenge holds meaning, and each victory brings you closer to the eternal. And that is why I keep calling patiently, even when you have turned away many times, because I know that once you return, everything will be changed forever. I am still speaking in every heartbeat, every breath, every stirring within you. My voice has not faded, but are you truly listening? Or have you allowed other voices to take the place that should be mine? Perhaps at first those voices were as gentle as a breeze, nothing alarming, yet little by little they have shaped your my place. Thoughts, your feelings, your direction. You begin to sense my presence dimming, not because I have moved away, but because you have grown so used to the other noise that my voice feels unfamiliar. No decision you make is meaningless. Every choice, whether great or small, opens a path. There is a path that leads to life and a path that leads to loss. When you ignore me, you lean toward the path the enemy desires. He rejoices in each step you take away, for he knows that if he can draw you out of close connection with me, everything else will eventually collapse. You may think you have never betrayed me, but neglect, delay, and small compromises are the first steps toward such betrayal. The enemy does not always come with a terrifying face, nor does he need violence to destroy your soul. Sometimes he simply lulls you to sleep in a false sense of peace, drawing you into a busy yet meaningless rhythm of life. He does not need you to hate me, only to forget me. He will place before you things that seem harmless, urgent tasks, fleeting pleasures, shallow relationships that consume your time, personal goals that obscure your spiritual vision. If he can take away even a single moment with me each day, he has won a step. Understand that distraction is a subtle strategy. A flower does not wither the moment it is cut from the stem. It keeps its color for a while, but its life has already been severed. So it is with your soul. When you drift from me, the source of life, you may still feel fine for a time, but the dryness will eventually show until one day you no longer have the strength to stand. That is why I keep calling, keep reminding, keep knocking. I have come to break the power of the enemy over your life. No chain is too strong for me to shatter. No darkness is too thick for my light to pierce. Yet the door to your heart I will not force open. I honor your choice, for true love does not coerce. You must open it with your own hands, and when you do, I will enter, not only to set you free, but to restore, to heal the scars the chains have left behind. You say you are weary. I know. The weight you carry has bent your shoulders and your eyes have blurred from long nights without rest. I invite you to find rest in my arms where burdens are laid down, and peace like a fresh flowing stream will wash over your soul. You say your heart has grown numb. I will revive what has died, rekindle the flame you thought had long gone out. Even when you think you feel nothing toward me, I will patiently melt the thick ice within you bit by bit. You think you are unworthy to stand before me. But remember, my grace is not given to the perfect. It is given to those who know they need it most. I will place the robe of grace on your shoulders, not to conceal but to transform you. I will cleanse away shame and clothe you with a new garment of honor. You think you have gone too far, that the road back is impossible. But my arm is longer than the distance you have run. There is no depth too deep for my love to reach. There is no sin greater than my mercy, as long as you are willing to turn back. But if you keep running, keep letting false voices lull you to sleep, the day will come when your ears will no longer recognize my voice. Not because I have stopped calling, but because your heart has grown callous, accustomed to other noise. You will pass by the signs I send, without seeing them miss the whispers I place in your mind. That is what grieves me most, to see you live surrounded by countless sounds, yet unable to hear the voice of the one who can save you. There are those who think they are on the right path simply because they face no great obstacle, but sometimes ease is the sweetest trap. The enemy knows that if it cannot make you stumble, it will slow you down, lead you off course and into detours that keep you from ever arriving, and while you think you will return one day, that one day may never come. So do not let busyness be the reason you forget what matters most. Do not trade eternal riches for temporary comfort. Step out of distraction, no matter how alluring it is. Return to stillness where you can hear my voice clearly, and when you hear it, do not delay. Respond at once, for every moment of hesitation is another step away from the source of life. You may think you need to prepare much before coming back, but all I desire is a willing heart. I do not need you to cleanse yourself before coming. I will be the one who cleanses you. I do not need you to mend your own wounds. I will be the one who heals you. I do not need you to break your own chains. I will be the one who shatters them. All I need is for you to agree to open the door so that I may enter and begin the work I have long awaited. And when you return, you will see that I never left. You will realize I was there walking behind you to keep you from falling, going ahead to make a way, standing beside you to whisper words you thought you had forgotten. You will understand that not a single moment of your life has escaped my sight, and not a single step has been beyond my reach. You will know that this love not only holds you but lifts you into a new life, a life where you are truly free, truly at peace and filled with joy no one can take away. Do not wait for everything to collapse before finding your way back, for no one knows when what seems unshakable will crack beneath their feet. Let this hand hold you now, while your heart can still hear the call, while your eyes can still see the path. I do not wait until you hit rock bottom to save you. I want to keep you from the pit from the very first step off course. There are fractures that began long ago which you have not seen, but I have. There are shadows that have slipped into your heart which you try to hide, but I am still there. If you will allow me, I will use my power to rebuild every broken part of your life, not with temporary patchwork, but with complete renewal from the inside out. I am the Father, the one who formed you, who knows every hidden corner of your soul, every dream and every disappointment you have never voiced. Never have I abandoned you mid-journey, nor have I withdrawn to leave you fending for yourself. You may have wandered far, but I have never erased you from my heart. Every step you have strayed, I have quietly prepared a way back, a direct road home where my arms are always open. You need not worry about rebuilding from scratch, for even before you think of returning, everything needed for your homecoming has been prepared. I honor the gift of will I placed in you. I will not force nor bind, for true love does not coerce. You may use that will to walk away or to draw near. I will not steal your choice. But if you give it back to me, if you let me direct it, everything will change. When your will aligns with mine, you will find a smoother road. Challenges will still come, but you will not carry them alone. The decisions that once led you to weariness and confusion will now become steady steps set upon an unshakable foundation. The peace you seek is not found in removing all troubles from life, but in having me with you in the midst of them. It is like an anchor holding a ship steady in the fiercest storm. The strength you lack does not come from fleshly effort or empty encouragement, but from the inexhaustible source only I can give. The meaning you chase in achievements, relationships, and personal goals will become clear when you are in me, for I am the ultimate purpose of your life. You know, many spend their entire lives searching for what I freely offer, yet never draw near because they think they must first be worthy. They believe they must fix everything before coming to me, but in truth, I am the one who fixes. If you bring me your weakness, I will turn it into strength. If you bring me your failures, I will turn them into stepping stones. If you bring me your tears, I will make them streams that refresh many others. Do not think I rebuild only what is visible. I work deeper still. I touch the very roots of old wounds, lingering fears, and locked away memories. I do not merely raise a fallen wall. I replace the foundation if it has rotted away. All renewal begins in the heart, and when the heart is healed, everything else falls into its rightful place. Then you will find you no longer need to force yourself to love, to forgive, or to trust, for these will flow naturally from the life within you. I have seen the days you have tried on your own, shouldering responsibilities, wearing a mask of strength before others, yet feeling too drained to take another step when alone. I do not condemn you for this, but I want you to know there is another way to live. A way not built on your control over everything, but on your trust that I am working all things for your good. When you hand the control to me, you will find relief, because the weight you were never meant to carry is placed into the hands that can bear it. I want you to remember the times I have saved you before, not once, not twice, but more than you can count. Each time you thought you could not make it through, yet here you are. It was not because you were strong enough, but because I carried you through the hardest stretches. Like Israel in the wilderness, receiving manna each day from heaven, you too have received grace sufficient for each day, never lacking, never late. Picture yourself as a tree withering from drought, your roots touching dry ground. If you remain apart from the water source, you will keep withering until only dry branches remain. But if your roots reach my living stream, you will revive. Leaves will turn green, flowers will bloom, and branches will bear abundant fruit. Not because the tree tried harder, but because life flowed into it. So it is with your life. When reconnected to me, vitality will flow naturally without force. No one can make this decision for you. Friends can advise, family can worry, but only when you truly choose will change begin. The path I have prepared is not in some distant place. It begins with the step you take today. Wherever you are, one step toward me will change your entire direction. And from that step, I will walk with you the rest of the way. I do not promise you will never face storms again, but I promise you will never fight them alone. When the storm comes, I will be your shelter. When the road is dark, I will be your lamp. When you are lost, I will be the voice calling you home. And when you fall, I will not leave you in the dust. I will kneel down, lift you up, and walk with you onward. So do not wait until everything collapses to return. Do not wait until you are exhausted to seek strength. Do not let your heart grow too hardened before seeking peace again. Everything you long for, rest, fullness, meaning joy, is already within reach, for they are found in me. And I am still here with open arms, waiting for the moment you decide to come back. There are those who go through life with head held high, believing they have it all together. They call it strength, self-control, the ability to stand on their own. But behind that confident gaze, I see something else, a barren soul longing to be loved yet afraid to admit it. Often the independence you prize is a clever disguise to keep others from seeing the wounds inside. You know you are not unbreakable, but you fear that admitting weakness will diminish your worth, so you choose silence, keeping the image of strength even as the emptiness inside grows heavier like a bottomless pit. I see through every layer. No wall can hide you from my gaze. Even when your lips are silent, the silent cry of your heart is loud before me. I know the times you have reached for a shoulder to lean on, but withdrew for fear of rejection. I know the nights you have lain awake, staring into the darkness, wondering if anyone truly understands you. You do not speak, but I know, and I am there right beside you, even when you deny my presence. My love is unlike anything you have known. It does not demand you maintain an image, nor does it require you to be worthy before receiving it. I am not deceived by outward composure, for I see the undercurrents within. This is why I call you not to shame you, but to free you from the pressure to be okay all the time. I know you are tired of holding this role for so long, and I am here to tell you that you can let go. I will not force you. True love cannot be pushed upon you. It can only be given and received willingly. But do not think my patience will last forever. The day will come when every knee will bow, every tongue will confess that I am Lord. That is an unshakable truth. And when that moment comes, no one will be able to hide behind excuses or personal achievements. All will stand before me in the light of absolute truth where nothing can be hidden. Some will bow in indescribable joy, for they have lived in my love. Others will bow in deep regret, for they let the opportunity slip away while it was still within reach. My judgment is not like the blind punishment of man. It is the righteous response to evil, the light that exposes all deceit. Like a sharp sword, it cuts away every covering, revealing the true nature within. Yet even with such holiness, I hold back. I restrain my anger not because I overlook sin, but because I desire to give more time for those I love to return. My love is not shallow. It does not stand by idly when I see you nearing the edge of a cliff. It is patient, but it also knows when it must act. Like a father watching his child play near the precipice, he does not immediately shout, but neither can he remain silent forever. He hopes the child will realize and step back, but if not, he will run and pull the child away, even if it frightens them for a moment. My love is the same. I desire for you to return willingly, yet I will not let you rush toward destruction without intervening. Do not mistake my waiting for absence. I am still here watching, listening, and preparing. Every thought you conceal I know. Every decision you weigh I see. And I measure your heart not only by what you do, but by the reason behind it. I know when you act out of love for me, and when you do it only for appearances. I know when your smile is genuine, and when it is but a mask. The day I draw near is closer than you think. The signs have been and are unfolding not as vague notions, but like bells tolling relentlessly in the stillness of night. The world is changing faster, darkness is spreading wider, and in your spirit you feel a strange stirring. It is the reminder that I am returning not merely to close the story of this world, but to finish what I began before you were even born. When I come, there will be no mingling of light and darkness, no blending of truth and falsehood. Therefore I plead with you, choose now while grace still calls your name. Do not wait until every door is shut to look for a way in. Do not wait until the trumpet sounds to start preparing. Like the 5 wise bridesmaids who kept oil for their lamps, you must be ready today, for no one knows the hour the bridegroom will arrive. When my light shines, only those already in me will be able to stand firm. I do not want this choice to be driven by fear, but by understanding the love I have for you, a love that paid with life, that bore every sin, that conquered death to give you hope. This hope remains, but it is not meant for you to neglect, thinking you can return whenever you wish. Each time you delay, your heart grows harder and your ears less sensitive to my voice. Choose, while you can still hear, still feel, still respond. No one knows the day or the hour, but everyone knows that time does not stop. Every moment you miss is a moment you will never regain. And when the final moment comes, the only thing that will remain is your relationship with me. All else, wealth, fame, position, will fade into nothing. But love, obedience, and faithfulness will endure forever. I want you at that moment not to regret missed chances, but to be welcomed with open arms into unending joy. This is the time you must decide, not with words, not with vague intentions, but with concrete action. Lay aside what hinders you, cut the cords that bind you, and step toward me. I do not promise the road will be easy, but I promise you will never walk it alone. And as you take each step, I will be there not only as a guide, but as the very strength that keeps you standing. The door of grace is still open, the light is still shining, and the call is still sounding. But the time will come when all will change, and then the choice will no longer be yours to make. Therefore, do not delay. Do not gamble with eternity. for the sake of what will pass away. Seize this moment, for it may be the turning point not only for today but for your forever. When that hour comes, it will give no warning, send no appointment. It will arrive like a thief in the night, and only those who keep watch will not be caught off guard. There will be no time to rearrange, no time to search for what was long neglected. In that moment I will see whether the lamp within you still burns or has gone out. That light is not kept alive by fleeting bursts of excitement or a single passionate gathering, but by daily steadfastness, by choosing to seek me whether busy, weary, unseen, or unpraised. The oil in your lamp is not something others can pour for you. No one can hand you the intimacy they have built with me. Like breath itself, it must be your own, drawn from your time in my presence. The wise know they must store up oil while it is still day, for the night will come sooner than they think. The foolish believe they will have time, that they can wait a little longer, that the door will always remain open. But when the moment comes, they run to find it, and it is too late. The sound of the closing door will be the most painful sound they will ever hear. I want you to understand that intimacy with me cannot be built in haste. It must be nurtured like a seed, watered daily, tended regularly, with weeds pulled out before they choke it. You cannot expect your heart to burn brightly when you have neglected it all week, hoping a brief prayer will rekindle it. The inner flame must be fed continually, or it will fade in silence. And when it goes out, you may not realize it at once. Coldness creeps in like an autumn evening until you cannot recall when you last heard my voice clearly. Some come to me as a passing guest, bringing their troubles for a quick answer before leaving again. But I did not create you to live this way. I want to be the one who remains, not merely visits. My presence is not a temporary stop, but the home you belong to. When you live there, every moment is covered in peace that cannot be stolen, every decision illuminated by wisdom beyond yourself. But when you only visit, you will always return to your own emptiness, and the flame within you will never endure. Consider the parable of the 10 virgins, Matthew 25. 5 were wise and carried extra oil. 5 were foolish and did not. All 10 slept when the bridegroom came later than expected. But when the cry rang out in the night, "Here is the bridegroom, come out to meet him," only those prepared with oil could light their lamps and go. The others went to find some, but returned to find the door shut. They knocked, but the answer was, "I do not know you." Do you see? What set apart those who entered from those left behind was not desire, but readiness. You must stay watchful now. Watchfulness is not merely opening your eyes, but keeping your heart ready, knowing that each day is a chance to add oil to your lamp, a step closer to the meeting. Do not waste today thinking tomorrow can make up for it, for tomorrow is not yours. Not even the next moment is guaranteed. Every second you delay is oil drained without being replenished. Seeking me while I am near is not a gentle suggestion. It is a command for your spiritual survival. While I am near, you will hear my voice clearly, and your heart will find it easy to respond. But if you keep letting my voice pass by, over time it will grow faint among the noise until you no longer recognize it as the voice of the one who loves you. And then regaining that first sensitivity will be harder than you think. Let me be your breath, not just a passing breeze. Let my presence fill every corner of your life, not only the parts you deem spiritual or religious. I want to be in the kitchen while you cook, at the desk while you work, in your smallest conversations and your biggest decisions. The oil in your lamp is not poured only when you kneel in prayer, but when you invite me into every detail of your day. This is how the flame is kept alive, when I am not confined to a corner of your life, but at the center of it all. And remember, preparation is not a burden. It is not forcing yourself into a rigid schedule, but nurturing a relationship. When you love someone, you want to spend time with them, not out of obligation, but out of joy. Preparing to meet me is the same. It does not begin with "I have to," but with "I don't want to miss a single moment with you." When love is the motive, pouring oil is no longer a heavy responsibility, but an eager anticipation. That day will come, and when it does, every excuse will vanish. Only one question will remain. Is your lamp lit? Is your oil sufficient? Is your heart fixed on me, or pulled toward what is past? I do not want you outside knocking in desperation. I want you inside, rejoicing, entering the fullness of the joy I have prepared for you. That is why I remind you today, while there is still time, while the door is still open, while my voice still echoes in your heart. So do not wait until everything around you forces you to seek me. Do not let your heart quiet only when crisis comes. Do not let your relationship with me depend on the weather of your emotions. Let it be an unchanging rhythm like your heartbeat, like your breath, so that whether in storm or in calm, your lamp is full, your flame is bright, and you are always ready for the day we meet. Keeping me at a distance is like letting living water flow right before you, yet remaining thirsty. When you allow that gap to exist even slightly, you separate yourself from the strength, wisdom, and love you need to live fully. Without my Spirit's guidance, your love for your family can be replaced by fatigue and frustration. Your patience with your children will wear thin, and your words will lose their life when they are not rooted in truth. You will find yourself trying to fulfill your calling in your own strength only to burn out under pressure. But when I am near, everything you do ceases to be mere duty and becomes an expression of my love and power through you. Everything you have ever longed for, every unanswered question, I have already prepared the answer. They are not hidden far away. They are in me, where you only need to seek to find. But when your heart begins to drift even slightly, you will slowly lose the sharpness to recognize the opportunities, reminders, and preparations I have placed along your path. It is not that I withdraw my grace or take away my promises, but that your hands are already full with misplaced priorities, meaningless distractions, and burdens you were never meant to carry. You must let go of these things not because they are always evil, but because they are taking the place of what is best. Some things look appealing, seem important, yet are nothing but gilded chains. They slow you down, cloud your spiritual sight, and drain you in unseen ways. I want you free to grasp all I give, not weighed down by what exhausts you. That freedom comes only when you decide to release what pulls you from me. When you do, not only will your hands be lighter, but your heart will open wider to receive the new life I pour out. Let go of what has long burdened your soul, of habits that seem harmless, but quietly drain your strength. Do not let sin and old desires bind your feet, making every step heavy. Petty concerns and needless entanglements only steal your focus and blur your vision from the goal ahead. You were made for a different race, not one to win human applause or gather fleeting praise, but to reach the only prize worth having: to know me. For when you truly know me, you will see that it is not merely the reward, it is life itself. I am not a distant figure at the end of the road, but beside you in every step. Yet your daily choices determine your heart's direction, either drawing you deeper into my warm and steady presence, or pulling you into the whirl of noise that drowns my voice. The world will not stop throwing sounds, images, and promises your way, all meant to blur the stillness where I long to speak to you. The longer you let distance grow between us, the easier it becomes to forget the true image I placed in you from the beginning. You start to see yourself through the lens of comparison and human standards, believing you are only what others think. But your true image is not found in the crowd's opinion. It is in my gaze, the one who knew you before you were formed in the womb. When you are close to me, you will see your true face again, unwarped by lies or compromise. When you begin to accept lies as though they were truth, they do not only distort your view of the world, they strangle the very identity I placed within you. You put on masks others have given you, learn to play roles that do not belong to you, and slowly forget who you are in my eyes. You forget your pure form before the wound stained you, before shame bowed your head, before you learned to hide to avoid pain. I not only know who you are, I know exactly who you were when I made you unscarred, unburdened, unchained. And I can remind you not with empty words, but with a touch that restores every part you thought was lost. But for this to happen, you cannot turn away, not even slightly. Compromise, however small, is like a seed buried in the soil. It will grow quietly until its roots wrap tightly around your heart. I have seen many who believe they still stand firm, while corrupted seeds have already begun to grow within. Just one small step off course, and you may find yourself far from the path I marked from the beginning. And when you realize it, you will be shocked at how far you have gone. Do not let that silent drifting lead you where I never intended you to be. Believe in me, even when everything before your eyes is still shrouded in uncertainty. True faith is not built upon what you can clearly see, but upon the one who stands unshaken when everything else is trembling. You have relied on your own understanding before trying to draw the map for your life, but each time you did, you lost your way. I have not left you to fend for yourself, but you must allow me to lead. As it is written, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight. Proverbs 3:5-6. This is not just a beautiful saying, but a steadfast promise that when you turn your gaze to me in every circumstance, you will not only be guided but also kept safe along the path I have prepared for you. So let me peel away the layers you have worn out of fear and shame. Let me uproot the seeds of decay before they take deep root. Let me restore the original image I inscribed in you from the very beginning. Do not wait until you are exhausted to come to me. Return now while your heart can still hear the call, while my hand is still outstretched. If you let me lead, you will see not only the way open before you, but you will also rediscover your true self, the one I have known, loved, and destined for a purpose that cannot be taken away. You are invited not because you have earned it, but because I loved you while you were still weak. I do not wait for you to untangle every knot before I open my arms, for if you could do that on your own, you would not need me. Come as you are, with wounds still unhealed, burdens still unlaid, questions still unanswered. All I ask is that you come with an honest heart, and I will receive you with gentleness and mercy. Everything you once thought could never change, I will begin to transform from the deepest place, the place you once kept hidden from every touch. But you must choose. No one can choose for you, and no one can walk this road in your place. Intimacy with me does not happen by chance. It is formed through the decision to remain and the resolve not to turn away. Each day you step closer, your heart will be less drawn to the voices of the world. Each day you choose to stay in the light, the darkness will lose its grip on you. And every time you choose me, you set your feet upon a foundation so secure that no storm can destroy it. The world will still try to draw you with sweet promises, but its sweetness is only on the tongue. It will give you illusions of peace that vanish like smoke. It will place glittering gifts in your hands, but inside they are hollow. The tighter you cling to them, the more you will realize they cannot uphold your soul. Everything the world gives has an expiration date, and when it passes, you will find yourself empty again, perhaps even more than before. But I give you water that never runs dry. This water does not merely quench a momentary thirst. It flows into an eternal spring within you. It renews your heart each morning, washes away the dust of each day, and overflows into blessing for those you meet. I give you a love stronger than every fear, a love that frees you from hiding behind your shell or pretending to be fine. This love sees all, knows all, yet stays. It does not abandon, it does not change. I have seen every step you have taken, the chains that once bound you, the pits that once swallowed your hope. I have broken each link, opened every door, and led you out of prisons you thought had no escape. You have tasted the freedom I give you, have felt the warmth of the light when you stepped out of the darkness. So do not return there, do not seek again the habits, the thoughts, the relationships, or the choices that once destroyed you. Every time you look back, you place yourself within reach of what once made you fall. Every time you pause to remember the old days as though they were good, you forget the wounds and the tears they left behind. Like Lot's wife who looked back at Sodom and became a pillar of salt, so it is with you. If your heart lingers, you will lose the life set before you. I did not free you so you could still live as a prisoner in a cell with a fresh coat of paint. I did not call you out so you could keep the keys to your chains in hand, ready to wear them again for the false comfort they once brought. You cannot walk fully forward while your eyes are fixed behind you. Keep your eyes always on me. Do not let them be drawn to the glittering emptiness of the world. I know there are times when the path seems obscured, when you feel as if you are walking in a thick fog with no idea what lies ahead. I know there are days you ask, why must I walk this way? Why must there be loss, endurance, and sacrifice? Yet it is in those uncertain steps that I can teach you to trust more deeply than ever before. A shepherd does not lead his flock through the meadow only because it is pleasant, but also through narrow ravines, slippery slopes, and dangerous turns, not to make it harder, but because it is the only way to greener pastures and purer streams. I am the shepherd who knows the road ahead, who sees the chasms beneath your feet, who knows the storms forming on the horizon, and who knows how to guard you from traps you cannot see. But you must stay close. When you are near me, my voice will be clear, and my hand will always be within your reach. You will hear me say, "Stop," before you step into danger. You will feel the urging to press on when you want to give up. You will find your shoulders lighter because I have taken the weight. But if you allow distance to come between us even a little, my voice will be swallowed up by thousands of others, and the guiding light will begin to fade. That distance is the most dangerous place, not because I have withdrawn, but because you have stepped away from safety. True life is found only in me. Without me, everything you pursue is but a shadow of the real thing, a dim copy that can never fill the emptiness inside. Apart from me, there is only the weariness of futile striving, the hollowness of fleeting victories, and the hardship of paths that lead nowhere. You may find instant pleasures, but they will vanish like the morning mist when the sun rises. You may feel safe for a moment, but that safety will collapse when the winds grow strong. Remember, I did not create you to live barely scraping by, surviving one day at a time. I made you to live abundantly, a life of purpose, power, and joy that no circumstance can take away. That is found only when you walk close to me, when you allow nothing to come between us. I know you are tired. I know you have endured much. I know there are times you feel you cannot go on, but it is in those very moments that you must cling to me more than ever. Do not let go. Do not look away. Do not let your heart be drawn back to what I have freed you from. Every step toward me, however small, is a victory over the darkness. And every time you choose to stay near me, you choose life over death, light over darkness, hope over despair. So walk even when you cannot see the way. Believe even when everything around you seems to be falling apart. Stay close, for only in me will you find what you truly need. Apart from me, there is nothing. My beloved child, this is the moment to pour out your heart in sincerity, with nothing hidden and nothing held back. Let the words you speak become the breath of your soul, so that every sentence and every word may be saturated in my light. Tell me everything you carry, your fears, your longings, and even your unfulfilled dreams. Almighty God, I bow before you with a broken heart, knowing that nothing within me can save myself. I have carried for too long old habits and bonds that have weighed down my soul. By the power of your Holy Spirit, break every chain that has pulled me down. Grant me a determined heart to turn away from all that hides your light. Help me to love your presence more than all the noise of this world. Place within me a fresh desire to know you more deeply, more truly, more intimately. Teach me to choose the narrow road, though few walk it, it leads to life. I do not run this race for the praise of man, but to reach you, my eternal reward. Keep my feet from straying toward fleeting pleasures. Give me strength to walk past every temptation that lies in wait. Do not let me forget the true image you created in me. Let me see that my worth is defined in your eyes, not by the praise or criticism of people. Give me courage to step into each new day with steadfast faith that you are near, even when I feel nothing at all. Beloved Father, I know that many times I have allowed distractions to fill my mind, causing your voice to fade. Today I place in your hands all my tangled thoughts, my worries, my unhealed wounds, my preoccupations that lead me astray. Cleanse my heart so that there is room only for your peace to dwell. Let me see clearly that my one true goal is to be near you and never trade it for anything else. Help me to realize that each small choice I make is pulling me either closer to you or farther away. Grant me the awareness to avoid drifting from your presence without realizing it. Let me refuse paths that seem easy but are filled with traps. Place within me a love stronger than any temptation, so that when I am faced with it, I choose you. Let me hear your call even amid the noise of this world. Renew my mind so that I think according to truth, not deception. Give me strength never to compromise, and the humility to return whenever I wander. O great Creator, the one who has known me from my first breath, until this very moment I kneel before you, asking that you cut away the invisible cords that have held me for so long. There are things I have grown so accustomed to that I fail to see they are killing the fire within me. Shine your light there so I may see clearly and let them go. Teach me to set aside everything to focus on the one thing that matters most, knowing you. Keep me from seeking the approval of man, for that only leaves me emptier. Give me spiritual eyes to recognize that you are near and spiritual ears to hear every word you speak. Do not let me lose my true image amid false standards. Place upon my lips unceasing prayer so that my heart is always turned toward you. Give me strength to keep running the race even when I am weary, and remind me that you are my only destination. Let me taste the sweetness of your love so that I no longer wish to return to what once was. Lord of mercy, I know there have been times when I have taken your kindness lightly living, as if grace were endless and sin a small matter. Forgive me for such indifference. Let me understand deeply that every choice I make carries eternal weight. Help me to see the small but dangerous steps that draw me away from you. Let me stop before my heart grows hard. Place within me a spirit of true repentance that goes beyond words and is shown in action. Keep me from the pride of thinking I can stand on my own. Give me the humility to depend on you daily. Cause me to love your presence more than the praise of men. Remind me that only you give abundant life, and everything else is but a shadow. Lead me on the path of truth, so that each day I live reflects you. Father, you are my source of life, the only place where I find rest. I surrender all control into your hands. I am weary from trying to manage on my own, from chasing goals that leave emptiness in the end. Redirect my steps so that every move brings me closer to you. Teach me to run this race not for temporary rewards, but for knowing you, the eternal prize. Free me from relationships, work, or habits that slow my pace. Give me perseverance not to quit halfway. Remind me that you are near and that I am never alone. Help me find joy in obedience and strength in abiding in you. Keep me from losing my true self through wrong choices. Beloved Lord, I thank you for never abandoning me, even when I have strayed and sunk deep into meaningless things. I am grateful that you have patiently waited, always preparing a way for me to return. Thank you for breaking chains I could not break myself. I am grateful that you do not define me by my past, but by your unchanging love. Thank you for showing me my true worth in your eyes. I am grateful that every day you give me a new chance to walk in the light. Thank you for calling my name in the crowd and leading me out of darkness. I am grateful that you are always near even when I cannot feel you. Thank you for giving me the strength to let go of what does not belong to you. I am grateful that you have given me peace beyond all understanding. Father, I thank you for patiently shaping and correcting me. Thank you that in my weakness you become my strength. I am grateful that you do not leave me in the dark but draw me into your presence. Thank you for teaching me to see the surpassing value of knowing you above all achievements. I am grateful that you have placed within me a fresh desire to seek you. Thank you for keeping me from decisions I would regret. I am grateful that every word you speak leads me to life. Thank you for the trials that have taught me to trust you more. I am grateful that your love never changes. Thank you that your grace is always enough for me. Almighty God, I thank you for seeing value in me even when I could not. I am grateful that you do not let my failures define me. Thank you for protecting me from dangers I did not even perceive. I am grateful that you have given me a spiritual family to support and pray for me. Thank you that each new day is an opportunity to live closer to you. I am grateful that every promise you have made is kept. Thank you for granting me true peace. I am grateful that you have turned my pain into testimony. Thank you for redirecting the course of my life. I am grateful that you chose me before the foundation of the world. Loving Father, I thank you for showing me what true freedom is. I am grateful that you have loosened every invisible chain in my life. Thank you for leading me from darkness into light. I am grateful that you have waited patiently for my return even when I delayed so many times. Thank you for giving me strength to leave behind what is wrong. I am grateful that you have opened my eyes to see eternal value. Thank you for giving me a clear purpose in life. I am grateful that your love is great enough to cover all my weakness. Thank you for always being near, ready to lift me when I fall. I am grateful that every good thing I have comes from your hand. I offer this prayer in the holy name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we may build a strong community of faith.